They handcuffed her hands before they ever saw the blood on them. Red lights flashed against the hospital walls as a black woman in scrubs was pushed toward a patrol car, her white coat half slipping from her shoulders, her phone still vibrating in her pocket with alerts she could not answer. She had been minutes away from saving a life, yet in that moment, she was treated as if she were a threat instead of a healer. What happened next would expose a terrible mistake, one that could not be undone, and a truth that would haunt everyone involved. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that reveal the humanity we often forget to see, take a moment to like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this. Dr. Maya Thompson had spent her life earning the right to wear that coat. She grew up watching her mother clean hospital rooms at night, memorizing medical charts taped to doors while waiting for her shift to end. Maya studied under flickering kitchen lights, learned anatomy from borrowed books, and promised herself that one day she would walk those same halls as a doctor, not as someone who was invisible. Years later, she became one of the most respected trauma surgeons in the city, known for her steady hands and her ability to make impossible calls when seconds mattered. That morning, she had already completed 2 surgeries and was preparing for a third, a high-risk procedure that only she was qualified to perform. The call that changed everything came as she hurried through the parking lot, reviewing scans on her phone. A nearby store had reported a robbery. A witness gave a vague description. A black woman, wearing dark clothing, moving quickly. Within minutes, squad cars surrounded the hospital entrance. Officers approached Maya with suspicion already hardened in their eyes. She tried to explain, tried to show her ID, tried to point to the hospital badge swinging from her neck. But urgency looks like guilt to those trained to see danger first. Before she could finish, her arms were pulled behind her back, metal biting into her wrists, her phone dropping to the pavement with a cracked screen. Inside the hospital, the operating room was being prepared. A patient lay sedated, chest open, machines breathing for him. The surgery was complex, involving a rare complication that Maya had spent years studying. The backup surgeons hesitated, knowing the margin for error was thin. They delayed, hoping she would arrive any second. Minutes stretched. The heart monitor ticked on, steady but fragile. Outside, Maya sat in the back of the patrol car, staring at the hospital doors as they grew smaller with every turn of the wheels. Panic pressed against her ribs. Not for herself, but for the patient whose life depended on her presence. She asked again to make a call. She explained again who she was. The officers told her it would all be sorted out at the station. Paperwork first. Answers later. At the precinct, time slowed to a crawl. They checked her name. They checked her license. They checked the surveillance footage from the store. Somewhere between the third and fourth phone call, the truth began to surface. The suspect was already in custody. A different person. Different clothes. Different street. A mistake. A terrible, irreversible mistake. Back at the hospital, the delay became a crisis. The patient's condition deteriorated. The backup team did what they could, but without Maya's expertise, every decision carried risk. Nurses whispered her name, wondering where she was. Administrators called her phone, unaware it was locked away in an evidence bag. When the officers finally realized who Maya was, the room went quiet. The weight of what they had done settled heavy and suffocating. They rushed to remove the cuffs, apologies spilling out too late to matter. A cruiser sped toward the hospital, siren screaming through traffic, as if sound alone could reverse time. Maya ran through the doors the moment she arrived, breath ragged, heart pounding. She scrubbed in with hands that still trembled from cold steel and humiliation. She stepped into the operating room, eyes scanning monitors, mind snapping into focus the way it always did. For hours, she fought for that life with everything she had, pushing exhaustion and anger aside, letting only skill and determination guide her. When the surgery ended, the outcome was uncertain. The patient was alive, but fragile. The delay had stolen something precious, time that could never be returned. Maya collapsed into a chair outside the operating room, staring at the floor, finally allowing the weight of the day to crash over her. She thought of her mother, of every warning she had ever received about how the world might see her before it saw her achievements. She wondered how many times she would have to prove she belonged. News of the arrest spread quickly. Some defended it as procedure. Others called it what it was. The hospital issued statements. The department launched an internal review. But none of that addressed the deeper wound, the knowledge that even excellence could not shield her from suspicion. Days later, Maya visited the ICU. The patient was improving, slowly, painfully, but alive. Relief washed over her, mixed with a sorrow she could not quite name. She returned to work, because healing was what she did, because walking away would mean letting the injustice define her. Nurses greeted her with quiet respect. Patients asked for her by name. Life moved forward, uneven but persistent. The incident changed people. Some officers attended bias training not as a formality, but with eyes opened by consequence. The hospital revised emergency protocols. Conversations began where silence had lived before. None of it erased what happened, but it planted something new in its place. Maya never forgot the feel of those cuffs or the sound of the door closing between her and the operating room. But she also never forgot the heartbeat that continued because she returned in time. She chose to believe that her presence, her perseverance, could force the world to see her fully, not as a stereotype, but as a surgeon, a daughter, a human being whose life's work was saving others. If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel anger, hope, or a renewed sense of empathy, please take a moment to like the video, share it, and subscribe. Your support helps these stories reach people who need them. Before the ending, we have one special request for you. Please comment below and tell us what this story made you feel, or share a moment when compassion changed your perspective. In the end, the truth arrived too late to prevent the pain, but not too late to change the future. And sometimes, the greatest surgery is not performed in an operating room, but in the hearts of those who finally learn to see.